Now I would like to show you a game from chapter 3, which is Obstructive Sacrifices, in which the author is the winner, and so it's clearly an interesting game. Okay, so in this game, this is game number 10 from chapter 3. Mikhail Prusikin is at 2567 and is playing against Eckhard Schmidt-Diel, who is 2413, and it was played in 2007. So white starts with d4, f5 and e4. Now this is the Staunton Gambit has brought me numerous nice quick victories. This is what the author says. And honestly, Grandmaster Williams, that is probably the leading world expert of the Dutch, he says if you don't remember the theory about this or whatever white can throw you, you need to start with e6, because so you avoid all of this. Of course, you need to know how to play the French, but in this way you definitely avoid the Staunton Gambit and other gambits that need theory, that one needs to study the theory. F takes e4, knight c3, knight f6, bishop g5, knight c6. Now the move, the author says that g6 is the move that forces him to give up the gambit, even though I never encounter it in my games. So since this is the refutation, interesting. Knight c6, d5, knight e5, and here there is a diagram, no? So it seems that before he was playing queen d4, and here there is a line that gives equality, but now there is queen e2. I don't know if queen e2 was found by a computer. The author doesn't tell us how he found the move. But it's important. Why it's important? Because today the evolution of opening theory is made by computers. Knight f7, and of course here there are other games that he quotes in which he won in 15 moves. Okay, let's see how he won in 15 moves, because it's a kind of I think interesting, right? We want to see how he won in 15 moves. So it seems the opponent played d6, he castled right away, g6, knight takes e4, king f7, and now there is another game that he also won in 15 moves. I don't know, it's one after another. f4, I just show you one of the two because it doesn't make any sense to show every single game that he quotes. Knight ed7, knight f3, bishop g7, and here it seems kind of okay, but there is a problem here. This is really terrible. Bishop takes f6, knight takes f6, knight e g5, king e8, knight d4. Obviously, as again we see that is circling around there. Bishop g4, he thinks he has an attack, but queen b5, bishop d7, and knight d e6. And here is Prusikin wieder in Schwabisch Gmund in 2006. So that's kind of interesting, right? So if it takes here, what happens? Obviously the other guy needs to take here, otherwise we are really, and let's see how much down we are here, right? Now the problem is he cannot really attack that, and there is this, right? But it seems he gave up a little too fast, right? I don't know. Doesn't seem like if he does this, he loses the other piece. That's the problem. So he needs to do something like this. And then maybe, I don't know, this guy goes here. If he tries to go back, he gets that. So maybe he plays this, and we retake. But then there is this problem. So he must try to defend that, right? So maybe before retaking, one gives him check here. The king has to move, track. So this is the real problem, the real deal. Okay, so let's go back to... you see, however, he could have put a little more of analysis, or maybe it's right because we also have to do our own research, our own homework, right? So let's return back to the position from which he showed these games. Obviously, if you buy the book, you will see all the games that he has played and won in 15 moves, because he put them a lot. Okay, so the position was this. He showed us a game that was 2 games lost with this d6. In this game, the opponent played knight f7. Bishop takes f6. G takes f6. And of course, he also gave us all the theory of E takes f6, so he covered it for those that are interested in buying the book and watch the analysis. Knight takes e4, and e5 is a novelty. I was very familiar with this position, but Eki found an innovation at the board which, however, cannot solve all black's problem. And here he gives another analysis diagram with 2 lines, A and B, based on e6 and bishop g7. So he is doing his work, and notice that he also played a game in the line with e6 instead of e5, okay? So that's kind of interesting. What I find strange of the line with e6 is the fact if you don't take right away here, you can take also later, but here you need to take right away, otherwise it's totally different. So e5 really makes sense. Queen h5, queen e7, and here there is more analysis about d6, bishop g7, and they don't work, okay? They don't work. Now, in this position, put yourself in white's shoes, because he makes a sacrifice that is very important. The sacrifice is d6, the thematic sacrifice, okay? Now the problem obviously is that yes, black has the bishop pair, but he's not gonna use it, right? That's the problem. What is he gonna do? If he plays c takes d6, there is bishop c4, and white is winning, okay? So black played queen e6, white plays b3 because this supports bishop c4, obviously. And in reality, black, white missed something here. Guess what? He can play this right away. That's crazy, right? Because after this, there is a move that he missed, that is queen h4. Can you imagine? Queen h4, he missed that move. For example, if he plays this, check, king d8, check. And what do you do here? What do you do? That's incredible, huh? Because once you do this, check again. And this is, I think it's a win for white, because now you cannot play this because there is this. So you need to sack the queen in order to avoid the checkmate. So let me bring the position back. Okay, I think I brought the position back. White played d6, queen e6, and here, like we said, he played b3 instead of bishop c4 that was winning. Okay, b3, bishop takes d6, bishop c4, queen e7, knight takes d6, c takes d6. Obviously there are two on here, that's why I cannot take with the queen, okay? And bishop d5. As you can see, blocked, everything blocked. And here it says, a picturesque position, black is completely paralyzed and the game is over. Rook f8, knight e2, f5, queen takes f5, knight g5, queen d3, queen f6, and the castle. And here it seems black resigned. It's 1-0. It's more maybe strategical at this point, we're resigning, because he could have played a little more just to continue, right? But again, I think the game was very interesting, and I would like to tell you another thing. There is a reason why I buy books that are a little old. This wasn't $22, so I practically get hours and hours of lesson for like 15 bucks. And so that's why you need to buy books like this, because they are old, but they are not really old, and they teach you something that is timeless. And for me it's worth it, okay? And then I will continue to show you games from other chapters, so you know what to find inside.